Hey everybody, great to see you again here as we celebrate a major milestone. This is the 80th episode here at the Red Barn of the Ferrari 360 Swap 914 build. 80 episodes. Now, if that doesn't get me a like, share, a subscribe, or a comment, I mean, come on, help a brother out. Anyway, in this episode, there's a bit of 3D printing. We got some 3D scanning. We start getting parts back from the vendors that have been helping us out on the side. And, there's some kitty content at the end for the folks that enjoy that. But let's go ahead and jump in and see what kind of progress we can make here in episode 80. Enjoy. All right, let's start talking about these heated threaded inserts. What I ended up doing is I just ordered this little kit. It comes with the soldering iron. I've already installed one of the tips, but basically it comes with all these different sized tips. If you want to call them tips, you can see it's just got a little stud on the end of it that turns it from a soldering tip to just this little holder. And then I ordered this little threaded insert thingy, again on Amazon. I think this was like $8. This was $18, something like that. And this comes with M2 through M8 with also some quarter 20. And the way this works is you end up with, this is set up for the M3s that I need for my door bars. And you can see there's a threaded part. This is impossible. The thing's so tiny. Let me put it on here. Maybe you can see it. But there's a little threaded part with some double direction serrations or little ridges. And you can tell, this isn't turned on yet, but you can tell this is going to just heat up this thing. And, you pick your part and with the appropriate temperature set, and they publish what the temperatures are for these things for each size that you're doing. And they publish the sizes of these. So when you're making your parts, you can figure out what size hole you want to have. And I'll just work through getting this thing put in there. But yeah, for not very much money, we have this cool new technology. So let's see how that goes. So here's the real piece, and you can see no cutouts. So the only difference is if any of the material from the melt needed to get pushed anywhere, I made these holes deep enough so there's somewhere for it to go. So fingers crossed this actually works. And it seems like it's a no-brainer. It seems like it's going to work just fine. Perfect. Like butter. Yeah, so I just got to get some shorter, this is bottomed out. You can see, boop, bottoms out. And so you can see, can't see it from that side, but from the inside of the car, if you glance down, you'd get this view. And I'm going to claim that's my design. I could get black ones of these, I suppose, but what I think I'm going to say is I'm going to leave them like that because that's going to pick up the same silver dot that's on the rivets on the console. So from the inside of the car, when you're a passenger, you look around, you'll see lots of little silver dots. But from the outside of the car, it's a nice, tidy look. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it. What a cool setup. I couldn't be happier. So there you go. Threaded inserts in 3D printed parts for hidden fasteners. Yay. I needed 7 more pieces made, so I said to the printer, hey, print 7 more pieces. And I'm off doing other stuff. And it's in here printing. I can monitor this through my phone. I can watch the printing as it's happening. It'll send me alerts if there's an issue with the print. It'll send me an alert when the print's done. I think I'm gonna name this printer Martin because it's another helper at the shop. And there they are installed. So I was wrong. These earlier versions that Andrew made are 12 millimeters. And so you can see, I think you can see, the new ones are significantly smaller. These are 9. So it's a 25% reduction. Is that right? 9, 10, 11, 12, 3 goes into 4, 12, 4 times. So 25% reduction in size. And it makes a big difference, in my opinion. It just looks lighter. And as you can see, I've got them oriented. I don't know if this is going to come through, but I've got them oriented with the the fasteners on the inside. And yes, you can see them when you look, but again, what I wanted was from the outside of the car, no fasteners and a lighter weight. And so a side project that completely distracts from getting the Ferrari car running, but it really opens the door to capabilities that, in my opinion, are really going to up the quality of this build. But it's going to require that I get the scanner going for the next couple of big things I want to do, the battery box, the air boxes and stuff like that. But my current laptop doesn't even come close to running the scanner. So, it's a full-on hardware upgrade. So it's always something, but I think it's going to be totally worth it, and I can't wait to get going on that. But the scanner has arrived, and I went with a Creality Raptor Pro. Did some online analysis, research, if you want to call it that, and there's a bunch of good stuff in this same kind of capability and price range. I opted for this one, and I want to just kind of take you through. I'm still learning everything, but this is the battery box that I'm going to use, and this is the tray that I had previously made with the plasma table. And so I got this little $10 Amazon turntable, and you can scan stuff, just by moving this thing around. Here, I'll show you in a second. But with the turntable, I can just kind of hold the scanner at the optimal location and just spin this thing around, and it'll makes it easier to scan, in my opinion, for stuff that fits in this kind of a envelope. And then you can see they got these little reflective dots. Depending upon the material, you may or may not need them, but I just figured I would try it with these just so I know that I've got a good surface to play with. So let me go ahead, and I got the software going, and so let me take you through this. So I'll move in for a little bit closer view of what's going on with the computer and the scanner. And so we're all set to go here. I'm going to hit the go button. And I've got this set to be blue laser, and it's a crosshatch pattern. And what you can see is I'm in preview mode right now. The reflective dots are giving feedback to the scanner about where their positions are. And it's not scanning anything yet. It's just giving you a preview of kind of what's going on here. And you'll notice over on the left, I've got this little sort of grade scale. It's saying optimal. It's what it is the distance from the object. And what it does is it keeps track of, if you start getting too far away, it's like, hey, that's too far. That's not a great signal for me. So I've also got you can't see it obviously, but I've got a little green dot right now on the scanner itself. So it's telling me, without having to look at the screen, if I'm too close or too far or in an optimal range to get this information. So I'm going to go ahead now, and I'm going to start. You can see I can click a start button if I'm working, with the desktop, or I've got that same kind of capability right at the scanner. So I'm going to go ahead and start, and you're going to see just how quickly this information starts to come in. And you'll notice it comes in sort of a brownish gold. That's the base information, if you will. And as it's turning blue, what you're getting is the blue is signaling that you've got a fair amount of data there for it to form the point cloud, which is what this process generates. It generates what's called a point cloud. And here I'm just, I'm spinning the turntable, and I'm tilting the scanner to kind of get it in other corners, and looking around as much as I can on the inside if I need to do that, or coming up on top and trying to get down sort of between the edge of those fasteners and the edge of the top of the mount. So it's really just a matter of kind of walking around, in this case, spinning the turntable, or moving the scanner around the object to get the amount of data that you need. Oh, you just saw it gave me a signal that the tracking had been lost, but it instantly picks it right back up, and you'll notice it didn't even hiccup on the scan. So you get the idea, I think. I've been at this for, I don't even know, a minute and a half kind of a deal. And within reason, depending upon, how much detail you need, how complicated a part it is, what surfaces you're trying to get, away you go. So I'm going to say that's all I need for right now, and I'm going to hit the stop button. And what I've got now is the point cloud. And now I'm going to just say complete. It's going to do a little bit of what it does. And here is what the system now knows about. It knows about this object. And if I zoom in, you might say, I hope you didn't pay very much for that, because that looks, it's not very impressive, right? I mean, what in the world is going on there? But again, this is the point cloud. And it's, it's got the dots on it still and all that. But if I now go through and process it into a mesh, and I'll fast forward through this, but I'll recount back how long it takes. So that was about 1.5 minutes to complete this mesh. And now from that crappy looking surface we had, we have gotten rid of the dots and we have a fairly nice looking surface. Now you can see there's stragglers here and there's places where I didn't get any data. Obviously, we didn't get any of the underside, but I can reposition this on the, in this case, on the turntable, scan the, either other angles or upside down, and then there's a, if I use other features in here, including things like this, like, oh, I need to clean up this scan, and so I can do things like, I'm not going to try to be too accurate, but, I can grab a bunch of information and say, I don't want that, right? And so you go through and you remove, any of these stragglers until you're left with what you want. And I'm going to jump right into, I'm not going to do that whole process. There's any number of, tutorials and things like that online. I'm not trying to do any training here. I'm just going to go back to my homepage and show you the result of multiple scans and putting things together, doing that alignment function. And here's all I need for my purposes to get this into Fusion as a mesh and then start editing. And you can even see I grabbed the wrong amount of data right here and deleted it. And I was like, oh God, do I back up? What do I need to do? And I realized I don't really need to do anything, because if I'm reverse engineering something, I only really need the surface, and I'm going to recreate that as a 3D model anyway. So here's scanners into point clouds, into meshes, and pretty quick, pretty simple. So what's next? I then go to Fusion. So if I get out of here and open up Fusion, I use that data to re-engineer or to reverse engineer the battery tray. And no, I'm not going to try to model the dimples, because this is going to be, let me turn off only part of my drawing. And I'm going to send this off to send, cut, send, and I'm going to resize these holes down to just the mandrel size for my own dimple dies. I'll have them do these bends just because why not? And I'll do my own dimples though. But as I was saying, so here's the tray, and then I just modeled up again. This is just practice. I modeled up just a very simple little support bracket, just to practice. And same thing here. I made the hole about as big as the dimple will be, but obviously when I make the dimple, it'll be a dimple, not just a hole in a flat surface. But this probably took me, I don't know, 15 or 20 minutes, and I'm still, stumbling my way through Fusion. But you can see, imagine now where this is going. And where it's going is right here into the engine compartment. So once the laptop gets here, I'll be able to bring the scanner out here. And the first really big project I think I'm going to take on is going to be scanning this whole section of the engine compartment. With the first project being, where is that battery tray going to go, and what kind of bracket do I actually need to build that's going to go mount right against this part of the longitudinal and support that battery tray? Where can I put it where I know I'm going to have clearance to take the cover off of it and get the battery out without running into any of the stuff that I might have down here, including the wire looms that are coming out from the bulkhead connector and all that good stuff. And then, so I think that's going to be a good first, I'll call that simple project. But then the next big one that I'm really excited to take on is, once the engine and drivetrain is back in the car, I'll have the plenums, the plenum will be up here, and the throttle bodies, I don't exactly know where I am, but throttle bodies will be in here, and I'll have this part of the scan, I'll have the engine, and I can start working on modeling up some air boxes that have to clear a battery, that have to clear wires, that have to clear whatever else I need to have down here. And that's just I can't wait to get going on that. Famous last words, let's hope it goes well. Check it out, the engine's back. freshly serviced. So new cam belts, Hill Engineering belt pulleys, new hydraulic tensioners, new front seal, new rear main seal. Plugs are changed out. Cam timing checked and adjusted. It was out by only a teeny bit. It was in spec, but it's better now. And they were kind enough. I love places like this. There was a teeny bit of corrosion. If you look back, maybe you can see it in other videos. But there was a teeny bit of corrosion on the cam drive gears, and so Patrick was like, "Oh, that can't be. We got to take those off and blast them." And so those were treated to an update. And so yeah, the clutch has been ordered, and the flywheel, as you know, the flywheel's been resurfaced. Clutch should be here in a few days. So I got to put the throwout bearing in, get the clutch on this thing, get it assembled, and then back in the car. And that's the last time it's going in the car before we try to start it. So major milestone. The engine is essentially ready to go. And so is the engine cradle and a couple of other miscellaneous parts. Just ran up to the powder coaters, and man alive, I'll tell you, after looking at this stuff for the longest time in just raw steel, and you know, you get used to the unfinished look, and then you get it back from that kind of a service, and man alive, this stuff is beautiful. It's going to be a shame to cover it up, but there we go. So got to get the motor lifted up, get the engine cradle on, a few other things, but boy oh boy, the stuff is getting done, and we're getting closer. And as we all know, close is good, but it's no cigar. So I'll continue on, but that's going to have to wait till next week. So that's going to wrap it up for this episode. I really appreciate everybody watching, and please like, share, subscribe, tell all your friends. There's some kitty content coming up for those of you that enjoy the kitties, and we'll talk to everybody again real soon. Y'all take care now. Bye-bye. Here we are in downtown Petaluma at Copperfield's bookstore, where our foster kitties are kitties in the window. So let's take a look at that. Let's start off with a big shout out to Copperfield's, a local bookstore that's doing a great service here for Petaluma Pet Pals. And as I think I've mentioned before, Petaluma Pet Pals is the overarching organization that Morty's is a part of. And so they're doing they were kind enough to say, hey, it'd be great if you brought some kitties down and got them here on display. And you can see there's a ton of people that are, there's my lovely wife. And there's just a ton of people here that want to check out the kitties in the window. And these are three of our fosters. There's the Bash Man. Oh, who do we got? Oh, there's Raver. And now you know why we call him that. He's a maniac. And I guess Jubilee, you can just see her poking out of the kitty carrier. I think she's a little bit shy at this point. But where's she going? Oh, there she is. Jubilee's out and about. And if this doesn't show what great kitties these guys are, I understand they popped out of their carriers when they got here, and they were immediately tail up.
Sorry, thank you.
They were immediately tail up and having a great time. And boy, oh boy, if they can take this kind of change environment, they're going to be great in your house. So come on down and adopt one. And big thanks again to Copperfields for hosting this event. So that was awesome down there. Lots and lots of attention from Morty's, and always a great thing to raise visibility to the rescue. And so if it wasn't clear, the three that are in the window, Bash, Rave, and Jubilee, are headed to Morty's, where they're going to be. And that means we still have two here. And the reason they're still here is because we had an adopter come by and check out all five. And as you know, we only adopt these guys out in pairs or more, or singles if the adopter has a kitty at home, a suitable playmate for these guys, because we don't want kitties going out on their own. And so she decided the kitties for her were going to be Fiesta and Shindig. And so this afternoon, they are going to Morty's to be adopted. And so we are done with the party time litter, and what a great result. Look at that boy. Hi there, buddy. Oh, and these guys get along great. They've been rousting about. Like I said, they just woke up. Anyway, so thanks for joining us with this litter that today marks the end of their time with us and the beginning of the next steps of their lives. So let's wish them well, and we'll see everybody again real soon. Take care.